3 arguments against electric cars. The car industry is fast moving towards electric vehicles, but is this a good thing? In this video, we're going to look at the issues electric cars still have and explain the best arguments against going 100% electric. Argument 1. They can't go as far and they take forever to recharge. One of the common complaints people have always had about electric cars is they don't have the range of gasoline-powered vehicles. While the range of electric-powered cars has improved over the last few years, they still can't even come close to competing with their gasoline-powered cousins. When this video was made, the average distance of an electrical vehicle was around 215 miles. While this may seem impressive, and is likely enough for most people's morning commutes, it pales in comparison to the range of a gasoline-powered car, which can average a whopping 410 miles. There is obviously a degree of variation when it comes to range. The most famous electric car, the Model S from Tesla, claimed to have a range of 405 miles, which is competitive with standard gasoline-powered cars. But when you consider that there are gasoline-powered cars with large gas tanks, which can do almost double what the Model S can do, it makes electric cars look even less impressive. So if you want to use your car for cross-country road trips, or even moderate distance travel, electric cars still don't seem like a very attractive option. This is especially true considering that not only will you have to recharge the battery more often, it will also take way longer when you do have to do so. The fastest charger on the market is the Tesla Supercharger, and it takes around 15 minutes to get you from 0 to 50%. With a regular charger, however, it can take 30 minutes to get to 50% and 1.5 hours to get to 100. And these are the times for the specially designed chargers that you find at gas stations and shopping centres. If you want to recharge your car at home, it can take between 8 to 40 hours to charge from 0 to 100%, depending on your car and charging setup. Since filling up a car takes roughly 2 minutes, that means even using the fastest charging method possible, you're still looking at a charging time which takes 15 times longer than refueling a regular gasoline car. And that's if you can find somewhere to recharge. Admittedly, the charging situation for electric cars has improved dramatically over the last few years, and there are now 54,000 charging stations across the country. But that still pales in comparison to the 145,000 gas stations scattered across the country. Remember how I said before that superchargers are significantly faster than the regular ones? Well, there are only 1,400 superchargers currently in the whole country, meaning they make up only about 3.8% of the total number of chargers. So even though you may be able to find somewhere to plug in now, unless you live in the middle of a major city, you are almost certainly in for an extended wait. Argument number 2. Electric cars aren't even that much better for the environment. Okay, so they're not as convenient as gasoline cars, but they are better for the environment, aren't they? Well, yes and no. Electric cars are only as green as the power source it draws on. In most parts of the world, the electricity grid is still primarily powered by fossil fuels. This means that every time you use an electric car in one of these areas, you are still increasing your carbon footprint. What's more, a mass transition to electric cars could easily make it harder for more places to go green. This is because electric cars would dramatically increase the need for baseload power. And by far the cheapest way to provide baseload power is, you guessed it, fossil fuels. Due to increased demand, governments may well be reluctant to try and transition their power grids to greener but more expensive and less reliable alternatives. Electric cars also have a larger carbon footprint to produce than gasoline cars. And while over their lifetime they do become more environmentally friendly, they still have a significant environmental upfront cost. So while the electric car may be a more environmentally friendly option than a brand new gasoline-powered car, it isn't actually environmentally friendly on its own. The better option would be for you to buy a used car and prevent a new car from having to be manufactured. Or, better yet, keep driving your old car for as long as practical. Argument number 3. They are too expensive and money would be better off being spent elsewhere. Despite prices coming down, electric cars still aren't a viable option for most people. With inflation on the rise and wages largely stagnating, the reality is you can still get far more bang from your buck by buying a gasoline car than you can by buying an electric one. While some electric cars may now be cost competitive with gasoline cars, When you compare like for like in terms of size, quality, and features, the price comparison isn't even close. The truth is, we would be far better investing all the time and resources we are currently investing in electric cars into building a clean, green form of mass transit. Currently, most people can't afford to buy a Tesla, but we could still make their travel have a minimal carbon footprint by providing an efficient, easy-to-use public transport system. This would not only open up greener travel for a far wider number of people, it would be better for the environment anyway, because as we discussed before, the best way to reduce carbon emissions from vehicles is to stop having to build so many of them. This is true even on a small scale. One could argue that if you could afford a Tesla, it might be better for the environment if you bought a cheaper modern gasoline car and then used the leftover money on other green initiatives like installing solar panels, buying more energy-efficient appliances, and even investing in green technology companies. In conclusion, electric cars are not yet a viable option to replace gasoline cars because they don't have enough range, they aren't as environmentally friendly as they may seem, and because they are too expensive to be a viable option for most people. We think these are the best arguments against electric cars. If you disagree with any of them, or you think there's a better argument that we've missed, let us know in the comments. As always, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash those like and subscribe buttons. This has been 3 Arguments for